What's up, dudes? Welcome to the Figures Q&A. Let's get started with a couple updates right down below. First, I did a great podcast with Dr. Kirk Parsley, but we didn't get so many views, and it's probably because of some of the topics we discussed. We discussed ibogaine and how it could cure a post-traumatic stress disorder, or men who want to self-delete, right? Those words are kind of blocked on YouTube, apparently, so we didn't get so many views. So please give it a watch. It was one of the best podcasts and the most enjoyable podcasts that I've done. So please give it a watch, right? It's very, very interesting. The timestamps are there in case you want to scroll ahead to a particular subject. I had a good time. I'm sure you'll have a good time. Please watch it after we're done with this one, or maybe tomorrow over the weekend. There's going to be a Merrick Health webinar on March 15th. So that's Friday through Zoom. So that's down below. We'll post an Instagram post and some other posts on social media about the exact time. So you guys are welcome to join. Anybody can join. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be solely a Merrick Health patient. You can join any way you want, basically. And after the webinar, we'll probably post the full webinar here on my YouTube channel as well. Last week, we had let me post this one real quick. Last week we had, what was it? The androgen receptor downregulation. And a lot of you guys said it was about this guy or that guy. It was about Taeian. It was about Dave. Those kinds of videos are never aimed at a certain person. I just wanted to make a video about short cycles versus long cycles. And then I started collecting my evidence about the sexual binding globulin receptor complex and about the androgen receptor and about myostatin and a couple other topics. And then I realized that the video was going to be way too long. So I had to split it up into different segments about the sexual binding globulin receptor complex, right? Which I already made a video about. And then about the androgen receptor, an upcoming video about the myostatin going up and down depending on which steroids you take and if you train or not. So that will be releasing, I think, on Tuesday. It's not aimed at anybody specific. It's just in my collection of information, I realized that it's better to split up those topics. Yesterday and today, something with the sound. What is wrong with the sound? Can you guys hear me or what? Let me know if the sound is okay. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Let's see. I recorded the halotestin best dose video, and because Taeian Clark made a good amount of claims, which ended up being mostly true. Sounds good. Sounds okay. Sound is funny. All right. All right. I guess we're going to continue. I mean, I'm using quality is low. Wait, is CRISPR fucking up? 1 second. How's that? Is that any better? I just turned CRISPR off. Let me know how it sounds, guys, because I don't want to start rambling and then not have any good audio while we're doing this. Let's see. Guys, let me know if this is better. Anyway, I recorded the halotestin best dose video, which ended up being probably 50 minutes long. So that's going to drop hopefully next week. And because of Taeian Clark making a good amount of claims that it wasn't suppressive on the HPTA, it wasn't liver toxic, and apparently hair safe, I did a total literature review of all of the available studies that I was able to find. Right, some studies are unfindable or not available as a full publication. So that video is going to be very, very long, and I really hope you guys watch it because I can't spend another day on PubMed or ResearchGate, Science Direct, or Google Scholar for the next week or so. So in the meantime, I was in the process of recording older videos, right, and kind of redoing those in a better format and with additional information. So do me a huge solid. After we're done here, go through my old catalogs. Let me know down below in the comment section which videos you would like me to redo. If you already see a video that somebody else posted, just like that comment or leave a comment, right? So I know that there's more demand for a particular video than other ones, right? So I have a little bit of an incentive to redo particular videos because I know which ones you guys want to watch. All right. Let's see what else. Yeah, so we have myostatin upregulation or downregulation next week, and hopefully the best dose of halotestin video dropping next week. All right, let's get started with the questions from the group. Joe Mac Truck asks, 47 years old, male, 190 pounds, 262 testosterone cypionate. We're going to have to decipher here a little bit. 250 IUs HCG 3 times a week. All the basics recommended supplement, no sides, loving life. What can I add in the reaction time for baseball and muscle endurance for CrossFit? All right, you're doing baseball and CrossFit. I mean, there's a boatload of things you can add. But it really depends on your preference. That's why I have this optimized endurance deep dive video series. I have a boatload of supplements and drugs, some of which are WADA approved and some of which certainly are not. So you can look into Mildronate, but that's on the WADA list. You can look at the Haboxin, that's on the monitoring program, but that's, as far as I know, not WADA prohibited yet, maybe next year. And then there's amoxapine and Mexidol, all great aids to improve your stamina, endurance, and have some sort of anti-hypoxic effect. So you reduce the oxidative stress as well. And those things I would look into first, because if you're already on, well, let's say the equivalent of 300 milligrams testosterone per week, I mean, 260 test CYP and 250 IUs HCG 3 times per week probably gives you serum levels of 300 milligrams testosterone cypionate per week. Then I would say that you might actually have to reduce the dose a little bit because, more testosterone. Like I usually recommend 150, 175 milligrams testosterone for endurance athletes, and that's the maximum because the more steroid you take, the worse your, stamina is going to be because the oxygen demand goes up. So you can offset that with Mildronate, Hypoxin, Mexidol, and amoxapine. And then later on, there's DADA, which diisochloro, the whatever, right? It's a very long, unpronounceable name. I mentioned that in the endurance videos. Then there's injectable carnitine, which can help with your endurance, but don't run that at the same time with Mildronate because now you're sending conflicting signals to your mitochondria, basically. So, Cardarine, SR9009. I mean, there's a boatload of things out there. So, Joe Mac Truck, I would advise you to watch those videos first and then ask specifically about particular compounds that you're interested in because there's so many to use. And muscle endurance, I mean, all of them do that. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's move over to the next one. Aaron Great asks, hey, Steve, and stream. All right. Asks everybody here in the live stream. We have 80 people so far. Don't forget to like. My question is this. Does it really matter what type of magnesium you get? I usually just buy the cheapest one on iHerb. I heard threonate can be beneficial for sleep, but it's expensive as hell. Yes, it is. I also use Steve's code when ordering stuff. Also use Steve's code when ordering stuff. Boys, saved me a pretty buck buying NMN and ubiquinol. Yeah, and NMN might be going away from iHerb because of what is that annoying doctor that is trying to patent it and turn it into medicine? Right? I saw a little bit of a scare or fear mongering there that it might no longer be sold as a supplement, but they said the same thing about N-acetylcysteine, and you can still buy it everywhere. So magnesium, I mean, it appears that magnesium citrate or bisglycinate, or glycinate for short, are the most bioavailable versions. Threonate is also highly bioavailable, but it appears that it just improves sleep quality. So if you were to go with, a couple different versions of magnesium, I would take magnesium citrate in the morning to help lubricate your stool. Then magnesium bisglycinate for high bioavailability with the other meals. And then with the last meal, I would take magnesium threonate to improve sleep quality, right? 200 milligrams or 100 milligrams per serving, depending on how much or how high your magnesium demand is. And then carefully, manipulate your magnesium intake based on your performance, sleep quality. And if you get a little bit sleepy from the magnesium, which some people notice, then obviously you need to reduce the dose. And higher dosages of magnesium have been associated with loose poop, right? Diarrhea, because you hold a little bit of water in the intestinal tract. And if you go with magnesium oxide, you're probably not getting any magnesium because that's very low oral bioavailability. So you would do best to do some research on which one has the best oral bioavailability, and then you start looking at the costs and breaking it down, right? And use the discount code from iHerb so you can get yourself 5% off. That helps. Ilkarakar, I can never pronounce his name, asks, why are there so many different SERMs? Are there really big differences between them? So the reason why there's so many SERMs is because they're trying to, use these medications for breast cancers, and there's many different instances of breast cancers, albeit that selective estrogen receptor modulators are usually used in estrogen positive receptor, right? And the ones that are being activated through the estrogen receptors, estrogen positive breast cancers. So you have tamoxifen, better known as Nolvadex. You have Clomid, or clomiphene citrate, better known as Clomid, with two stereoisomers. One is zuclomiphene and the other one is N-clomiphene. I believe that Clomid is approximately 1/3 zuclomiphene and 2/3 N-clomiphene, which is now being more readily investigated because apparently all of the side effects are coming from zuclomiphene. And then there's tormophene and raloxifene. Right now, Nolvadex, of course, most of us don't have breast cancer, so we use Nolvadex during a post-cycle therapy or to help favorably lose a little bit of lower body fat, because it seems to favorably block the estrogen receptors in the legs and the glutes and the hamstrings as well. Clomid you would use during a post-cycle therapy, but I prefer N-clomiphene nowadays, because it seems to be, more effective in that sense with less side effects. Raloxifene seems to preferentially block the estrogen receptors in the gynecomastia nipple area, so you might be able to reverse gyno. And tormophene, I'm not really sure what the practical application of that is. I mean, besides breast cancer medication, I never heard anybody use that for physique sports or bodybuilding purposes or any kind of performance enhancing benefit. So I wouldn't know. I haven't really looked into tormophene myself. The next one, he asks, what are your thoughts on SR9009? Stenabolic, thinking about combining 10 milligrams of it with 400 milligrams injectable L-carnitine before fasted cardio in the morning. But could work. I mean, it basically activates the Rev-ERB proteins, which helps with metabolism. Now, as I do more research, I realized that SR9009 is more of a compound to keep you awake. It works on the circadian rhythm. Could it potentially provide fat loss through upregulation of metabolism? Yes, it can. Will it be the best fat aid? Probably not. I think that 10 milligrams cardarine is better for that purpose in combination with injectable L-carnitine than SR9009. Now, I can't remember if SR9009 has been investigated in the context of cancer because I didn't do a deep dive on it just quite yet. So maybe if I do research and I found that it's also cancer prone, then obviously it falls into the same category as cardarine. And is it as good as Clen? Probably not. Is it on the line of coffee? Yeah, I think SR9009 at 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams is probably as effective as caffeine when you combine it with L-carnitine, assuming you're in a caloric deficit for fat loss. So I give that a run. Don't run it too late in the day because since it activates or works on your circadian rhythm, it might keep you awake. All right. Let's see. Let's start. Oh, here we have one more question. Andrew Gilardi asks, hey, Steve, I switched from intramuscular to subcutaneous, 150 milligrams testosterone per week. That's pharmaceutical grade, I'm assuming. Blood work results, intramuscular, 1100 nanograms per deciliter. On the total testosterone, 50 picograms per milliliter estradiol. And sub-Q, 6 weeks, 930 nanograms per deciliter and 60 picograms per milliliter. On your estradiol. Okay, why the higher estradiol? Acne became also worse. Injectable 2 times per week. Body fat is 13%. So when you go sub-Q, daily microadministrations, is to be expected that total testosterone levels decline, but it is not expected that serum estradiol levels come up. So it could be that in the meantime, your sexual binding globulin levels declined, and now you have more free testosterone being able to convert into estradiol, which I think will ultimately reset itself because estradiol is one of the primary regulators of sexual binding globulin, which will then bind up more testosterone and prevent the conversion. So maybe in another 6 weeks, everything is right back to baseline. Your serum testosterone is 930 nanograms per deciliter still, but your estradiol is 50. and some normal fluctuations are to be expected. Because if you do intramuscular and you check your blood work the day after, of course your testosterone levels are going to be higher, but estrogen takes a couple days to convert. And if you do daily microadministrations, then you're always checking the day after the injection. So this is a more accurate representation of where your blood work results are going to be continuously. Whereas if you inject twice per week, right, 75 milligrams Monday, Friday, you check on Tuesday, testosterone is higher, but maybe by Thursday, your estrogen is like 60, 65, 70 picograms per milliliter. It could be, right? I mean, you have to do daily blood work to kind of see how it goes up and goes down. And depending on testosterone and estrogen, it might have different peaks. Test goes up and then comes down, and then estrogen comes up as your testosterone comes down, because as your testosterone is coming down, it's because it's being metabolized into dihydrotestosterone and estradiol. So there's a lot of things going on there. If acne became worse, then yes. Yeah, then I'm not sure. Right? It could be from the higher estradiol. Maybe it takes time. Maybe you change your diet. Maybe every day microadministration sub-Q is not for you, and you need to go back to twice per week administrations. So there's multiple things you can consider, right? I mean, I have several acne videos that you could also watch, because if you switch to daily sub-Q injections and you start drinking a boatload of milk, right, or you start eating a lot of ice cream, and you add a lot of cheese to your diet, then yes, of course, acne can get worse also, but you might be looking in the wrong area of what the actual root cause of that is. All right. Next one. Hey guys. All right, what's up? All right, sound is okay. Kusha, my total testosterone has gone from 260 to 210. Oh, total cholesterol. Total cholesterol has gone from 260 to 201. HDL has gone from 73 to 59. LDL has gone from 163 to 128. ApoB went down from 88 to 100. What do you suggest I get to do these markers to optimal levels? Well, obviously, lower your dietary cholesterol intake, and look into what can actually worsen your cholesterol levels, because I don't know if you're on steroids. I don't know if you're on a statin. I don't know if you're on ezetimibe, right? So look into what might be causing elevated cholesterol levels. Maybe you took something out and that's why your levels improved. Or it could be diet related, right? Or stress related. I mean, or there's so many things that affect your total cholesterol level. So you'll have to make a little bit of a list and then systematically go down the list to see what is improving your cholesterol levels and lipids overall and is making it worse. So I would suggest in this scenario, with limited information that you're giving me, berberine, citrus bergamot, fish oil with each meal. So that's citrus bergamot and berberine morning and evening. You can move the berberine to 1 serving per day after your lipids have improved. Fish oil with either meal, high potency, 500 milligrams, 800 milligrams EPA plus DHA per capsule. So that's 4 or 5 times per day. And if that doesn't work, then ezetimibe, right? Because that ApoB and LDL still needs to come down. So, and if you're on, Anavar and tren and testosterone, well, that's going to make your lipids worse, obviously. Dolmatov, good evening, Steve. So, what about my Arachis cystinon? Well, it might be increasing your inflammatory markers, but apparently on your blood work results, homocysteine is 9, which is normal. C-reactive protein is 0.9 milligrams per liter, so that's also good. NLR, what is your lymphocyte ratio? 1.76, okay. Ferritin is 18. That's very much on the low side. I had no red meat or iron supplements in the diet. Okay, so maybe increase your iron intake, because you still need a little bit of ferritin and serum iron for normal hematocrit or red blood cell count and hemoglobin concentrations. So it seems that you are not responding negatively to the Arachis oil of your cystinon, and you can proceed, right? I mentioned it in the Carrier Oil Deep Dive that you should be wary of Arachis oil, but some people tolerate it just fine, right? I mean, we have peanut allergies where people don't respond well to peanuts, obviously. And since Arachis oil is refined peanut oil, some people might not respond favorably to it, right? I gave you the information, you did the blood work, and you're good to go. Or your cystinon is faked, and it's not Arachis oil, it's just cottonseed oil with no testosterone in it. That could be the case also. Did you do your serum testosterone levels? Keep that in mind. Oh, here's some more details. Iron is 22. Okay, that seems normal. Hemoglobin, IgE, C-reactive protein, all before PET. 0.5. Okay, so if you go on steroids, obviously your C-reactive protein will go up slightly because you're also training harder and you're not just taking Arachis oil, cysteine, you're probably doing other stuff. So I would say so far so good, man. So far so good. Isaac, I dropped on my license 12 years ago, getting ready for the Arnold Classic, then a kidney transplant. Did I miss one of your messages? Sounds serious. 4 weeks out from my first show in 12 years. Okay, well, I hope everything goes well and you're working with a coach so you don't get rhabdomyolysis again. I mean, that CPK of 25,000 and a serum creatinine of 3 or higher, right? And elevated liver enzymes, that ain't a good thing. All right. When is the collab with James English dropping? I guess on Monday. Yeah. Yeah. Almost 3 hours. That was great. Great talking to James English. We went all over the place, but it was a fun podcast for sure. Actually, I'm going to export it right after we're done with this vigorous Q&A or the TikTok guru Q&A. Let's see. Igor, 4,500 calories a day with a good food, training supplements and weight gain on point. In that scenario, is 50 minutes of cardio on the treadmill with 5 kilometers per hour, 4 times a day. After meals, ideal for insulin sensitivity and cardiovascular health. I think that's overkill, dude. Do 20 minutes in the morning in a fasted state, and that's enough. I mean, you're eating 4,500 calories. And if you're doing an hour of cardio per day over 15-minute increments 4 times, then how much of these calories are going to end up in, well, the air, basically, because you're burning it away. So I would do 20 minutes in the morning. And I think that's enough for insulin sensitivity. And if you want to really improve insulin sensitivity, then there might be something to say for high intensity interval training, doing that for 10 minutes, maybe 5 rounds, right? You warm up 5 minutes and then you do 5 rounds of 30 seconds break. And so that's a 10 minute thing, right? That's also good for cardiovascular health. But from my experience, if you eat this much food and you focus on your apple cider vinegar, magnesium, vitamin D3, testosterone, obviously, because it's also good for insulin sensitivity. I mean, it's been, recommended for diabetics, for fuck's sake. And what else did I forget? Berberine, right? Metformin. All these things help with insulin sensitivity, so you don't have to overdo, the 10-minute or 15-minute walks. I think 20 minutes in the morning is more than enough, right? Assuming you're eating super, super healthy and you're restricting trans fats and saturated fats, which are terrible for insulin sensitivity. Ken, what's up, bro? What's your top three for vitamins and minerals? Top three for organ support and health markers. I would say multivitamin, vitamin D3, and magnesium. Those are very underrated. And for organ support, Tatka, uh, Astragalus root extract, and citrus bergamot, I guess. Right, but if you're on heavy cycle, 3 supplements is not, or 6 supplements is usually not going to cut it. So you might need to take a little bit more than that. Isaac, if health isn't a concern, what's the dream cycle to go from national champion to Olympia contender? Um, well, I've seen cycles of Olympia contenders, and it might be like 2,000 milligrams per week. So it depends on your genetic response, man, because some guys need to run 5 grams, and some guys can get away with 2 grams. So the dream cycle could vary from person to person, and of course, a 5 gram cycle might not be a dream cycle because you know that it's wrecking your health. So, if I could do a 1 gram dream cycle and get to the Olympia stage and place top 5, that would be good. But my parents didn't give those genetics to me. Um, yeah, so it varies, man. I've seen so many different cycles. Right? It could be high test and masteron, or high test and primo, or high test and a little bit of train, or low test and a lot of train. I mean, it varies so much. Figure out what works for you, and then take more of it. Take more of it until you get diminishing returns, and then see how far you get. Because at the Olympia level, it's chemical warfare unless you have awesome genetics, and then you don't have to partake in the chemical warfare. But if you have average genetics, you probably won't even get a pro card. Or maybe you get a pro card and then you place like fourth tier, did not placed from 16th and below, even on a boatload of steroids. So it could be all over the place. Oh, $20, Matt. When should you get a mass spectrometry, a liquid chromatography mass spectrometry testing? An extra 69 Australian dollars, 600 Thai baht compared to regular non-sensitive estrogen tests. Is it only while running 19-hour testosterones, that's an androlone, ment, or trembolone, or should you get them even with testosterone-only cycles TRT? Now, I would only get them if something is off, because listen, it's an extra expensive test, right? It's not even available here in Thailand, as far as I know. You just have chemiluminescence, and we don't treat the numbers; we treat the patient. So that's why I always tell you guys, keep a little bit of a diary before you go in for blood work. Form a hypothesis, and then you do blood work to confirm the hypothesis. And for that, you need a good amount of blood work markers to have accurate insight into what's going on into your body. So let's say your libido is off, right? It could be low estrogen, could be high estrogen. Now, it depends on what you're taking, right? If you're testosterone only, I think a normal test is enough. But if you're taking testosterone and the 19-nor, which could falsely detect as estrogen, or you're taking testosterone, HCG, DHEA, and pregnenolone as part of your TRT stack, right? It's more complicated than just testosterone. Your libido is off, but your joints are dry, but you also have symptoms of gynecomastia, right? What is it now? Is it low estrogen or high estrogen? Get the sensitive test, right? Get the sensitive test. But if you feel good and you just want to know, then just do the conventional test. I always do conventional, and then I piece it together based on my diary, right? I have a certain way I feel. My training has been a 3 out of 5. Okay, because I'm not on steroids. My mood has been a 4 out of 5. Great. My libido has been, 4 out of 5. And I write it down like that. Then I do my blood work and see if I can manipulate anything with the practices, the protocol that I'm doing, based on the results and what I wrote down before I go in for blood work, because otherwise you bamboozle yourself with the results. You see your estrogen 50 picograms per milliliter, and then you're like, oh, it's 20% out of the reference range. My libido must be terrible. And you look down and your penis is literally this big, right? Nothing was wrong until you saw the numbers. So it really depends on what you're doing and how you feel. But if you feel off, then just do the most sensitive test you can to get the data. And then with the hard data, you can make the adjustments. Because some guys think that they have low estrogen, but in reality, they have high estrogen. And sometimes they think that their estrogen must be high. And then they look at the numbers and it's totally normal. Right? Maybe they're dopamine deficient. Maybe they've been masturbating too much. Maybe too much OnlyFans. Maybe a dopamine and a porn detox is required. So it really depends on what's going on. PC aborts. Is 50 milligrams fluvoxamine beneficial since 80% serotonin occupancy needed for 50 milligrams? Donazepam experience. PS, we love you, never retire. Well, let's see about that when I have kids. 50 milligrams. I mean, I started with 25 milligrams fluvoxamine and I already noticed the benefit. And then 50 milligrams fluvoxamine, I noticed the exact same thing as 100 milligrams fluvoxamine. But of course, the scientific literature shows that, the more you take, the more neurogenesis occurs. So if you want 80% occupancy, of course, there's diminishing returns from 70 milligrams, then why don't you run 25 milligrams for, let's say, 8 days, right? And then 50 milligrams for about a month. And then you slowly increase to 75 milligrams and see what the difference is. Right? Because if you don't notice a difference between 50 to 75, maybe keep it at 75 for a year before you increase to 100, or maybe drop the dose down to 50 milligrams. If you haven't been on 75 milligrams for long, I don't think that the dose reduction is going to be that dramatic. But if you run fluvoxamine at 100 milligrams per day for, 9 months or longer, man, coming off that shit is fucking brutal. And I stopped at cold turkey, which I cannot recommend. I've never tried donazepam or donepezil. Sorry, donepezil. I didn't really experiment much with these kinds of drugs. But yeah, fluvoxamine, man, good times. Good times. No drama ever. Mr. B with Mr. Bean. Uh, with regards to liver toxicity, how does popping a 50 milligrams Turinabol tab compare to drinking a glass of wine? Yeah, so I wish that was investigated. And I tried to look for it, but I couldn't find anything. Of course, you can extrapolate from the liver enzyme increases from steroids versus alcohol, but there's more that goes on to it because they go through completely different metabolic pathways. And of course, alcohol has a negative effect on your brain health, which steroids might also have. But these kinds of drugs have never been investigated one by one against each other, and then see what is the least impactful on your health: steroids or alcohol. Um, I mean, when you look at alcoholics who are obviously intoxicated, or steroid abusers, I would say that the steroid abusers are still somewhat cognitive compared to the alcoholics. Um, but of course, if you were to do both for, let's say, 30 years and then stop, and you go through AA, right, Anabolics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous, 10 years later, who would be off worse, the steroid user or the alcoholic? I'm not sure, man. I think both are terrible. So that's why we don't do the dosages too high. And that's why I don't like to combine alcohol with steroids or recreational drugs with steroids, because that's now putting pressure of two on your body, and it probably exacerbates each other. Your thoughts on AOD and 9604? Best times to take it and dosage. How does it feel when you take it? You don't feel anything. Well, you look at your wallet and then you look at it and you're like, man, my wallet is going down. But I'm not entirely sure if I'm actually getting any fat loss. So I ran AOD 9604 and HGH frag 172 to 196. Anyway, HGH frag and anti-obesity drug. I ran both, and then I ran the numbers based on molecular weight. And I think that if you inject 1 milligram of AOD, if I remember correctly, if you inject 1 milligram of AOD or HGH frag based on the molecular weight, you're injecting the same amount of a growth hormone receptor binding potential as 17 IUs of growth hormone. Now, do you get the same amount of fat loss as 17 IUs of growth hormone? I could be misremembering it, but I think I mentioned this in the video about AOD and HGH frag. Let me just link it down below. AOD, all of the lipolytic peptides. Did I link it here somewhere? It starts at 16 minutes. This kind of shit I don't remember, man. I'll make a video and then it goes straight out of my brain for the next one. All right, I've linked it down below. Give that video a watch. I would say that, I mean, the fat loss that you get out of it, is it comparable to 2 IU's growth hormone? I think you get better results with MK677, man, but you also get fucking hungry. I mean, I got some fat loss out of it, but how it compares to what net dose of growth hormone or clenbuterol carnitine, I can't really say. I think it was lackluster. I will not run it again because it costs money, and for the amount of money that you spent on it, the results were not that good. Thoughts on Mont C? That is a great compound. Yes, 5 milligrams twice per week will give you energy for days. I ran it for almost a year straight until I had to come off because there's no fertility data on it. And if there's no fertility data on it, then I don't run it. And maybe that's why my fertility parameters are so fucking good. I'll go again on Monday. Let's see if there's a reason to document how good or how bad it is this time. So MOD-C definitely in combination with 5-amino-1-MQ and nicotinamide mononucleotide. That's one hell of an anti-aging and mitochondrial upregulating and fat loss inducing stack. Yeah, 100 milligrams 5-amino-1-MQ per day. Let's say 500 to 1,000 milligrams nicotinamide mononucleotide, but the dose can be lower if you do IV NAD plus administrations once per week, 100 milligrams, 200 milligrams. And MOD-C, I would do intramuscular 5 milligrams Monday, Friday. That is, yeah, that is one hell of a stack. All right, the super chat flood has started. Oh, guys, fair warning. I'm only going to go to I'm only going to do 2 hours, so another 1.5 hours from now, because tomorrow I have to wake up very, 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 very early. There's a bodybuilding show that I need to attend. It starts at 10 a.m. in the morning, but normally I wake up at 12. All right, it's 12:30 now. We got 1.5 hours left, and then hopefully I can go to bed at 3 a.m. After I take some gorilla mode dream. All right, Michael. I've been enjoying Mass Monster for Crazy Pumps. All right, leaving our favorite amino website out of it, which got me thinking, can it be used for my manhood or bedroom reasons? That I would not do. No, that I would not do. Look into papaverine. It's from China. Or no, not from China. It's from Russia. Let me see. Papaverine. Verine. Is that the one? Treat many smooth muscle spasms. Erectile dysfunction. Let me see if we can find it. Injectable route. All right, let me link the Mayo Clinic. Do I need all this extra? All right. There we go. Look into that. And rub some Androctim cream on it. But wipe that away because that gave me a very hard erection. It was great. Cialis, Androctim diet testosterone cream, and or the gel, and papaverine. Oh man, if you want to inject something, make sure it's papaverine. Ooh, I would not inject aminos from our favorite amino company, Mass Monster, Super Shredder. I wouldn't do it. Stampede, no way, no way. Or just abstain from masturbation, and then you also get harder. I mean, it's well reported that no fap increases your penis size because now, um, well, you don't touch it all the time. You have a, half flaccid with no blood circulation, just good enough to get your dopamine kicks in. Isaac Danielson, whoosh, anything you recommend to prevent rhabdomyolysis? I'm in shape, glute striated with four what? For what? With four, and then the next question. Well, rhabdomyolysis you usually get during contest prep if you overdo the thyroid medication or DNP. So don't take those and diet slowly. Don't be in a crazy steep caloric deficit. Don't do 4 hours of cardio. Don't do 4 hour workouts, right? I mean, at one point you overstimulate or you overdrug and then you get rhabdomyolysis. So if you're in good shape, glute striated with 4 lines, I'm assuming that's what you mean, then leave it where it is and give yourself some time to get even more shredded. Right? Follow what the naturals do. They diet for 26 weeks and they get fucking diced. Right? It's usually the bodybuilders who take steroids. Like, oh shit, I got 10 weeks left. I got to throw in the DMP, and then they get in all kinds of issues. So, yeah, don't do that. Why would I get Gyno symptoms when I add in Winstrol every time? Yeah, I don't know. I think we discussed this last week. I have no idea. It could happen. When I read the fluoxymistralone inserts, it also noted that some people would get gynecomastia. There's even one case report that shows that. Is it because Winstrol or halotestin or maybe some other oral anabolic androgenic steroid is kicking the testosterone from the receptor, and thus testosterone converts into estradiol and now potentiates gyno? Maybe, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe your Winstrol is deanabol, right? That could happen also. So 99 euro cents. All right. Is there a question with that? Nico, I don't see it. Oh, here it is. I have no idea how these super chats work. How do I? Yeah, okay. So figure it out, and then I'll address your question. This is what I like to see. Dolmatov, $20. $20. That's euros. So it's like $20.50. I don't know if the dollar is that strong or the euro is that bad, but it used to be a significant difference. Thank you, Steve, for telling me to check my ferritin levels. That one I was skipping all the time. You saved my rice, chicken, dairy ass. All right. Well, you don't have to pay me $20 for that, but I'll take it. I'll take it nonetheless. Thank you very much. Happy to hear that everything is working out. All right. What is the next one? Why do steroids always make your lipids worse? I, by the way, really like to eat. Yeah, me too. Me too. But look at my face. Still lean. 93 kilos. My weight is going up a little bit because I'm eating more, because you guys told me to. But I'm also getting leaner. Win. Win. Yeah, training intensity has gone up, obviously. My lower back, you don't even want to know how that feels right now. I sometimes overeat and have to cut a little bit of calories the next day, so energy I spend on cardio is not a problem. So you would do best with a ketogenic diet or tirzepatide, liraglutide, semaglutide, or whatever you can do to keep your appetite under control. The reason why steroids make your lipid worse, especially oral steroids, is because testosterone and testosterone derivatives, they instruct your cells of the body to produce cholesterol. This is one of the unique characteristics of testosterone and testosterone derivatives. Now, the primary source of cholesterol production is in the liver. So when you take oral steroids through the conventional route, right, not sublingual, not rectally, but you swallow that whole, perhaps with the grapefruit juice, then it all passes through the liver, and then it tells your liver locally to produce more cholesterol, and thus low density lipoprotein levels need to go up to transport this increased cholesterol in the liver to other tissues. But the other tissues also have testosterone derivative action regarding cholesterol production. So they don't accept the LDL. Instead, they transport their cholesterol back to the liver with high density lipoprotein, which is now being metabolized at an increased rate through hepatic lipase. So HDL goes down, LDL goes up. It's not being accepted in the peripheral tissue, floats around in the bloodstream, and you get cardiovascular disease. So this is why we take ezetimibe to inhibit the absorption of dietary cholesterol and promote the excretion of the cholesterol that is produced in the liver and being transported from the other tissues through the HDL. And this is how LDL comes down and total cholesterol levels come down. All right, I hope that makes sense. Igor, but I will cut cardio, those 20 minutes fasted state, and buy a glucometer to see how my body handles foods. That's good. Yeah, and adjust. Adjust, man. I mean, if you have a problem with overeating, just eat better, feel more satiated, add more vegetables, and learn to get it under control. Yeah, or take the ghrelin mimetics out. Right? That helps also. VV, what's your favorite labs for blood tests in Thailand? All of them. I have a very comprehensive list on my website. I'll link it. I go to Bria Labs in Lat Pral Soy 101. Medical screening for your first cycle. I just test everything, dude. I mean, we'll sit here for an hour talking about which markers you should test. So it's right below. Bria Labs, Lat Pral 110. Go on Sunday morning. There's minimal traffic there. I mean, Lat Pral is still completely fucked because they're building up the SkyTrain, which is almost, I think it's mostly done, but the traffic is still horrible in that area. So go Sunday morning. I usually go Sunday afternoon. Don't wait there every Sunday for me just to get a glimpse of me. Just come to the Muscle Factory if you want to talk to me. I'm there way more often. So, oh, this is a funny one. How is the Ladyboy War going, Steve? So there was a huge Ladyboy War in Sukhumvit Soy 11 between the Filipino Ladyboys and the Thai Ladyboys, and it almost led to an international incident where parties of I think some diplomats had to say, or some news agencies had to say, well, whatever happens with the Ladyboys is not a representation of how Philippines feels about Thailand or Thailand feels about Philippines. Apparently, 100 Ladyboys were going toe to toe. So, yeah, and it was probably very nasty. So you can find that on many a website that documents news in Thailand. You know what? I'm going to give this guy a shout out. What is his name? Let me link his YouTube channel down below. I like this. He used to work for the Tiger. He's an old American guy, funny as hell. Tim Newton Today. Give this guy a follow if you're interested in Thailand. I'll link it at the top. I'll link it here, and I'll order it later on. Tim Newton Today, TNT. The guy's so cynical. I love it. I told him how to improve his YouTube views, but he didn't listen. That's it. That's up to him. Jason Coe, what's up? Alternative to Clomid for PCT alongside ATG and Nolvadex. I had bad dry eyes before, and we're doing great with the crypto. Okay, just waiting for ETH and Solana. Yeah, we're making some headway right now. Right, we're already at all-time high, and the halving hasn't even started yet. Yeah, of course, there might be a brutal rejection, and then we come down with 50%, but you got to be ready for everything, man. So I would replace the enclomiphene, replace the Clomid with enclomiphene at maybe, well, 2/3 the dose. So if you were to plan to run 50 milligrams Clomid, maybe run 37.5 milligrams enclomiphene. Right, or what is it? Calculator time, 50 times 0.66, 33 milligrams. Right, because apparently the zuclomiphene is not that good for recovery of the hypothalamic pituitary. Jesus Christ, recovery of the hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis. I was already on camera for 6 hours today, so right? I recorded a video and consultations. Give me a fucking break. So yeah, maybe 1/6 a dose, give or take. But it seems that I talked to some guys that run 25 milligrams in clomiphene for their PCT solo for 4 weeks, and they recover just fine, right? After years of steroid use. But scientific evidence is a little thin, and the anecdotal reports are also a little bit thin. So you might want to play it safe and still go with Clomid or replace that with clomiphene and Nolvadex, because that PCT protocol is known to work, assuming that all the exogenous testosterone and the testosterone derivatives are out of your system, right? Don't run a cycle of testosterone and nandrolone and then stop for injections for 2 weeks and run ATG during that time and then Nolvadex and Clomid, because by the time you finish your Nolvadex and Clomid, exogenous testosterone and nandrolone is still in your system, keeping you suppressed. Right? So you have to wait. You have to wait. Will Smith. All right. Getting jiggy with it. Steve, 4 months on TRT, 8 to 10% body fat. Are you sure? In body electric impedance analysis. Yeah, those can be very inconsistent, but if you're that low body fat, then yeah, you could even be lower. Trainer agrees that I'm under 10%. Okay, so abs are showing, right? And women are falling off their motorcycles and bikes and crashing their cars when they see you when you're that lean. I would like to lose the film of water on my abs and face. Gained 8 pounds. I regret TRT. Talk to me. 37 years old, 5'11". Clean up your diet and do some blood work. See where your estrogen levels are at, because maybe your estrogen levels are too high, even though your body fat levels are low, right? I mean, if it's only 4 months, you're going to have to make some adjustments. And I have very several videos about this, about how to remove the blood face. Steroid blood face, that's one. And then I was another bulking and cutting video, I think. No, off season. Man, I just found it yesterday. Let me link it. Bloat. No, that's the wrong search parameter. 1 second, guys. Man, I can't even find it. I have too many videos. I can't remember. Death face? How to prevent the drawn out death face? How to prevent steroid face bloat? Well, I have another video on this topic, but I don't even remember the title. So use the channel search function. And I think I cover everything there. So it's basically cleaning up your diet, manipulating your estradiol levels, maybe doing more frequent injections. Um, you know, yeah, consistent electrolyte intake, and otherwise be in more of a caloric deficit. And if you gain 8 pounds, isn't it a bonus? Right? Maybe you're eating like an asshole over the weekend. You're eating clean throughout the week. You're getting leaner, and then on Sunday you eat a boatload of food. And because you don't manage your electrolytes carefully, or you just don't manage your food intake carefully on Sunday, then Monday you're a bloat monster, and that stays there until Saturday, and then you have one day of, looking like a, Greek statue, and then after that Sunday it's all in the trash again. So, um, practice some restraint, bro. When does methylone anethate kick in? I started with 100 milligrams every other day. It kicks in right when you inject. Right, as soon as you start injecting, it's already being metabolized. Now, the full cosmetic effects might take, I don't know, 2 weeks, depending on body fat, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. If you're running 350 milligrams per week, I would say that you should notice some changes within 2 weeks. Yeah, but the full cosmetic changes might set in after 6 to 8 weeks. That seems to be the case for most injectables, and with orals, it's about 2 to 4 weeks, depending on which oral, depending on your body fat levels, and how many milligrams you're using. So yeah, short answer. All right, can anybody delete this young kid? I don't want any young kids in my chat, man. I'm sick of it. So let me quickly. I don't know where Iron Grid or the other guys are, but I don't want any of these kids in my chat. asking all these dumb questions. This is not what my channel is about. All right. You're out of here. Come back when you're 18. People ask me about height protocols. It's a fucking liability. Repunjay Das. Planning my first cycle of, let me see, close everything. Planning my first cycle of 250 milligrams testosterone cypionate every 3.5 days for 12 weeks. Right in the middle, right? Monday evening and Thursday morning, or a Monday morning and, yeah, Wednesday evening. Is that correct? Or Thursday, whatever. Right, every 3.5 days has to be right in the middle. Just do daily micro administration, so you'll get less side effects and serum levels are going to be more stable. 12 weeks, what's the best time to use HCG, after the cycle or during the cycle? I would run testosterone cypionate for 4 weeks first. Do your blood work, see where your total testosterone, estradiol, lipids, SHBG, everything is at, and then add in the HCG so you know how you respond to testosterone only, because on testosterone and HCG, your serum estradiol levels might be significantly higher than without the HCG in the picture, and it takes a while for testicular function to kind of shut down. So, of course, after you start injecting the testosterone cypionate, your LH and FSH levels might already be suppressed after a week or two. But I don't think that it's the end of the world to have bottomed out LH and FSH levels for 2 weeks if you know that you're going to add in the HCG. But you want to see how you respond from an estrogen perspective and a cholesterol perspective to testosterone solo. So, daily microadministrations. Let me do the calculation for you while we're at it. 250 divided by 7, 35, 36 milligrams sub-Q per day. And then blood work 4 weeks into it. And then you add in 250 IOs, ATG, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, man. Iron Grid, where are you, dude? Octavian, do you want to be a moderator? I'm going to make you a moderator. I'm going to add more people as moderators. The growth of my channel just brings out these. Octavian is a bro. And whether you want it or not, I always see you here. All right. There you go. Octavian, welcome to the team. I'm counting on you. Shit. Where are we? Oh, no, I lost my chat. Okay. Mm, I think a ladyboy would be a good birthday present for President Vladimir Putin. Hey, let's not go there, man. Don't fuck with Putin, dude. That guy will fuck you up. Elkar, does Astragalus root extract protect the kidneys? Dosage and where to get it? Well, you can buy it on iHerb. Or Amazon. You can buy it literally everywhere. And I would start with maybe 4,000 milligrams per day. Right? And at higher dosages, it seems to reverse kidney damage, but that might be like 12 grams per day. So you would have to take, well, those tablets are 500 milligrams. You would have to take 24 tablets per day, right? But you also have Astragalus root extract as a powder available, also on Amazon. And then you kind of have to, review what or see what the reviews say about the potency and the purity, and then maybe do it that way. So it protects the kidneys with antioxidant effects, and I think that it can actually increase telomere length as well. Let me link the Examine article. It's also a good read. I haven't read into uh, supplements for a while because all you guys want me to do is drug videos. So if I don't remember, my sincere apologies. When in doubt, go to examine.com, get an account there, and all will be revealed. There you go. Right down there. Uh, uh, how far am I behind? Oh, 10 minutes. It's not too bad. Mm, I'm really behind. Igor, does sub Q have a localized effect? No. Think my good idea for IGF-1 DES injection sub-Q to make a half-life longer. Now, IGF-1 DES just has to go intramuscular, and after running a couple vials, you realize that you probably don't get as much results as you would from IGF-1 LR3. All right. Mr. Bean, in the past videos, I've noticed taking oral sublingual is a matter of emptying a capsule under the tongue. I've read the dissenting opinions that orals must be formulated to be absorbed sublingually. Is that true? I mean, from my personal experience, whether it's raw powder or lozenges from pharmaceutical formulations or coming in capsules, it all works, dude. It all works the exact fucking thing, same. So, I hate to break it to you, but if somebody tells you you need to buy these particular lozenges with my discount code, they're trying to upsell you. Everything works. Right? It's about the molecular size, and as long as you can dissolve it underneath the tongue and it's somewhat properly micronized, then I think it's going to absorb. Right? So does the lozenges, maybe enhance it slightly? Potentially, right? I mean, there's United States pharmacopoeia about how tablets should be formed, and whether that's tablets for normal oral ingestion or for lozenges, right, that you put underneath your tongue. I'm sure there's a standard for it, and that probably works better than capsules or raw powders or whatever, but that still fucking works. And I could never tell the difference between 20 milligrams of this versus 20 milligrams of that. You know, maybe I'm just sensitive. I don't know. All right. Steve, is there any useful place for Adderall type of drugs in bodybuilding? Well, plenty of bodybuilders use it as a appetite suppressant or a pick-me-up to keep them going, right? Injectable ephedrine used to be used quite a bit, and then some people switched to Adderall because it was easier to get. Injectable ephedrine is a little bit hard to source sometimes, and both kind of fall into that, extra stimulatory effect group. But I mean, there's so many nootropics out there, and Adderall, of course, basically falls into the amphetamine class, even though it's especially formulated as a medication. But yeah, I don't know. It's not available here in Thailand, and then once in a while you get a couple tablets which you really have to, make last. So you take 5 milligrams, and that's it. Yeah, I haven't used it in a very long time, so I can't really say if there's a really place for it because I don't have so much experience with it. And all the guys that I talk to that run Adderall during a contest prep, they usually are also on a boatload of sleep aids. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't know. Octavian is now the banhammer. Yeah, man, get rid of these kids. I don't want to do high protocols. All right, let me scroll down a little bit. Uh, can I claim Natty if I take Cialis? Well, let's do the investigation. What? No, tadalafil is not on the prohibited list, man. I think it's even in the WADA approved video that I made. Let me link that in the meantime while the WADA website loads. WADA approved half natty stack. Did I mention it? Jeez, look at this video, man. 45 minutes. No, it's I think I listed it here. Yeah. Blood pressure management, beta blockers. All right, let me link it down below. I think that Cialis is still natty approved, man. It doesn't have any anabolic potential, unless you count temporary anabolic potential in between your legs as real anabolism, but that's just engorgement, baby. Yeah, good stuff. Okay. Hey, Steve, love your channel. Do you have any opinion on deer velvet antral extract? Come on, dude. the, uh, why is this making a resurgence? Hey, what about colostrum? What about this or that? No, no. Just if you want to use IGF-1, buy IGF-1. Yeah, sorry you had to waste your super chat, but I don't think that works. Is Miglyol Keller all sustainable? Never tried it. So it seems that some people respond well to Miglyol 812, and some people respond well to Miglyol 840. But please watch the Keller all deep dive video. Let me link it. I know we're talking about it multiple times. Let me link it down below. Some people respond well to it, some people don't. So make sure you keep track of your blood work parameters and then see what happens. Because as soon as you see your inflammatory markers are fucked, then you need to stop, obviously, because it's not sustainable. Stan, begun at 180 kilograms, competed 12 weeks, round 140 cycle, cut to 78 kilograms, but faced test and IGF-1 recovery issues. Now 60 kilograms. Wow. Wow, that doesn't sound good. Need tips for recovery and rate of weight gain with muscle memory. Um, I have a feeling you're like 15 years old based on what you're writing right here. So I would say check your, because you dropped 40 kilos, dude. 40 kilos. So I don't know how severe your diet was. And if you kept dieting from 78 kilograms after your round 140 cycle down to 60 kilograms, then you're probably androgen deficient for sure. So I would advise you to check your serum testosterone, estradiol, sexual binding globulin, IGF-1 growth hormone levels, and then take it from there, right? Maybe you need to increase your food intake. And from 60 kilo to 80 kilograms, you can probably do it food alone. 80 kilograms is not unheard of as a natural. So, I mean, I got up to 80 kilograms as a natural, and I didn't even take Rad 140. So maybe my HPTA was not impaired, obviously. My testosterone was what, 650, 620 nanograms per deciliter around that time. Um, so yeah, I don't know. When I see questions like this, I got to be increasingly careful, dude, because it's just getting a little bit absurd sometimes with these questions. So I would want you to do your blood work and then focus on health and eat more food that is good for you. Because what I see here is yeah, it's a little bit of a newbie mistake. SERM only cycles are fucking stupid. You guys know how I feel about this. Hey Steve, hope you are well. I need to start an aromatase inhibitor and have Arimidex. What would you advise as a starting dose? My estradiol is 175 moles per liter. I don't know what your steroid dose is. So how can I make an advice when your serum estradiol levels are like marginally out of the reference range? What the reference range goes up to 160 picomoles per liter. I would say that you don't need an AI for this. So um, no, and unless you want to increase your testosterone dose, then I don't know, dude. I don't know. Give me some more information that I can work with. Andrew, can too much sex 2 to 3 times per day decrease performance? I always notice the day after I'm not as aggressive, strong, and focused as usual in training. Well, if you have sex this much, your prolactin levels are probably elevated. And depending on how hard you fuck, if you do that 3 times per day, it might be a lot of cardio and calories burnt. And if you use particular positions that are heavy on your legs, then it's basically a workout. Right? You guys have to use your imagination. So, but I envy you. Those days are over for me because I'm married and I'm old. So I'm happy with 2 to 3 times a week. Yeah, but I remember those days, man, 2 to 3 times per day, and I would still go to the gym. Yeah, but I remember not being as aggressive and strong as focused. So maybe reduce it to 1 time a day for a while and see if that gives you some improvement. And otherwise, check your CPK and your prolactin levels. Maybe those are way too high. Nico, add the chat. Come on, just add it. Get creative. All right. Let's see. Do you have a preferred pharma growth hormone, Humatrope, Genotropin, Serostim, Norditropin? I like Norditropin because it seems to, at least for me personally, it gave me the most fullness and the least amount of water retention. Genotropin gave me the most water retention. Humatrope, did I use this? I can't remember. Serostim I haven't used. I've used Sizen. I'm using that now. And Omnitrope I've tried. No, I have tried Humatrope. Yeah, I have tried Humatrope. Yeah, it was a little bit. I mean, it's all pretty much the same. But Serostim and Genotropin gives you a good amount of water retention. Omnitrope and Norditropin, I can say that it's less water retention. But I mean, now I'm off steroids, and there's a synergy between steroids and growth hormone, and of course, that also impacts water balance. So right now, I don't really. I mean, I'm fucking lean. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this fucking hole here. You know? Look at this. Look at this fucking chest. What the fuck? See, it's popping off the bone. So I guess it's working. The the Omnitrope that I'm running in the Sizen here and there. So I don't know. I go for the best deal, right? You calculate how much you pay per IU because the results, if it's pharmaceutical grade, are almost the same, water balance and water retention aside. So if you can get genotropin for $3 a unit and norditropin is $4 a unit, just go with genotropin. Save yourself some money and just put that money into Bitcoin. It will only get more. It will only get more. All right. We are down to the bottom. Uh, 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 uh. Any tips that aren't pharmacology for dealing with hunger when cutting? I find myself thinking about food a ton. Increase your or go with more nutritious foods that always increase satiation. So you have the superfoods, right? Kale, chia seeds, flax seeds, beef liver, maybe a little bit fattier meat. Obviously, you want to cut, but sometimes a little bit fattier meat, just adding in 50 grams per meal can be the difference between feeling satiated or not. Right? Maybe add some Brazil nuts or walnuts, but those are usually easy to snack on. And if you're thinking about food a lot, then obviously you might overshoot with your nuts and seeds intake. And well, there's always more veggies, man. There's always more veggies. Uh, I eat a kilo of veggies per day. Yeah, I'm still in a caloric restrictive state, still trying to get leaner. And even though I'm eating more and my weight is going up and I'm getting stronger, I'm also getting leaner. So I'm still in a caloric restrictive state. And I eat veggies a lot. Veggies, 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 veggies. Very, very good for satiation. Yeah, because I can't use any pharmacology right now to blunt my appetite. Caffeine aside, right? That kills my appetite also. London Makana. Thanks. I've been waiting to order some, but simply haven't purchased because I wasn't sure if there was a major difference between growth hormone options. All right, to answer the previous questions. Yeah, so just go for the best deal, man. Go for the best deal. That's what I've always done. And right now in Thailand, there was a good deal on Omnitrope, so I made a purchase. Right, I made a purchase. Why source it international if I can get it locally? And just I buy bulk, right? So I get a discount, and I get the results. And when that runs out, then I get it international again. Ah, bodybuilder Leo, how much the fuck out of the veggies? Yeah, sometimes you just gotta veg the fuck up, man. Sometimes it's needed. Steve, hope you're doing well. Yes, yes, we're doing well. Look at the Bitcoin chart. Let's have a look. Can't stop looking. What does Binance say? 68,000. Did you guys catch that brutal rejection last week? Oh man. Yeah. Good shit. Well, if it goes like this, and we're gonna have a lot of altcoin shillers. You see all those YouTube channels like Alex Becker? What a fucking shill, dude. Jesus Christ. This guy, oh, this coin is going to make millions. And then the exact same thumbnail a week later, oh, this one is going to make millions. And then the guys that investigate this guy, they look at their addresses and he already bought. And then it goes up a little bit and he dumps. Fucking scammers, dude. Shit. All right, so Brandon, to answer your question, favorite sauces and seasoning for yourself or clients? You're the wrong guy to ask, dude. For strategic purposes or for fun? Um, well, whipped cream is always a lot of fun. uh, you guys know, right? Whipped cream goes in everything, man, especially on those radio dials. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I wish there was I wish there was some whipped cream with low calories, but yeah, well, all right. I know onions and garlic powder can be beneficial. I didn't use any sauces. I use salt and pepper and ketchup. And if I add ketchup, it's a little bit. So I use McCormick spices sometimes. Those are just dry rub spices, steak herbs, and I don't know, whatever dry rub, just anything that doesn't have added carbs or sugars. I go with. I had a stint where I just used paprika and pepper and salt for a while. I really don't give a shit, man. I eat very good on Sunday. Tomorrow, I won't give a rat's ass on what I'm eating as long as it's healthy and it digests good. That could be a gourmet hamburger, could be a very nice pizza with some, a very luxurious toppings of some sort of ham that's been imported, or the pork has been imported and curated here and sliced in front of me, right? It has to be, if I'm going to cheat on my diet, it has to be really, really fucking good. And during the week, I eat basic as fuck. So when I make a salad, it's salad. Yeah, it's not salad plus mustard or balsamic vinegar or olive oil with this and that and everything above. No, it's just fucking salad, dude. When I eat eggs, it's eggs, chia seeds, salt, and pepper. So I'm the wrong guy to ask. I eat the most basic foods, and that's why my skin is so nice. This pimple aside, obviously, but that's probably from last Sunday, because last Sunday I did eat. Yes. So eat good. Um, What's Omnitrope in Thailand cost? Shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll tell you there. Is there a cat in front of my door? I think one of the cats wants to get in. 15 zucchinis a day was a good time. Yeah, hide the zucchini. 14 down the top and 1 down the bottom. Oh, man. Yeah, and parrot's nose. Habano hot sauce, sriracha, and mustard. You guys eat the sriracha, right? But it's not true sriracha sauce. My wife actually coached the third generation owner of sriracha, the true sriracha sauce here in Thailand. And they were very upset that it was copied in the United States many years ago when a guy came to Thailand, tasted the sriracha sauce, and then tried to rebrand that in the United States. I think it's in California, right? That famous goose hot sauce, something like that. Yeah, it tastes completely different. That tastes good though. Don't get me wrong. Ripun J Das became a member. Welcome to the Vigorous crew. Get your questions in because we got 45 minutes left. Any problems with too many fillers from supplement capsules and stuff? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of magnesium stearate in there, right? And some other fillers. But I mean, I take a boatload of supplements and I honestly never really got an issue. But if you really dive into it, then I'm sure you can find reasons not to take particular fillers. But I haven't done that in a while. Sometimes there's titanium oxide in there or magnesium stearate or something else. I know sometimes you try a supplement brand and you get a fucking rash, so you just throw the whole bottle away. But I've also gotten rashes from steroid labs using particular binders, and then you take their Clen or their Anavar, and you just feel itchy, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?" So you throw it away. Ask questions. All right. Oh, he already asked it. Okay. Yeah. Hui Young Foods, based in Los Angeles. I remember I was dieting a very long time ago, and I would put sriracha sauce on it. And then in the beginning, it's mad spicy, right? And then you get used to it. And then after a while, you get so hungry from dieting that sriracha hot sauce started tasting sweet. That's when you know you're suffering. Oh man, good times. A little bit of fish and a little bit of broccoli, right? The good old days when you do a fish and broccoli diet, 2 hours of cardio, and then the sriracha hot sauce. You're like, why the fuck does it taste so sweet? Oh, it has like 2% sugar. Ah, yeah. Then you're really suffering. Jonas, can I do subcutaneous testosterone antidote once a day, total 250, 300 milligrams per week, or intramuscular twice per week? Love the channel. You can do both. You can really do both, right? I prefer subcutaneous every single day. But if that doesn't give you favorable estrogen levels, maybe your estrogen levels are too low or it's too cumbersome, then do intramuscular twice per week. Right? Some people have very low estrogen levels on this protocol because you get more stable levels and less aromatization, and they need to go to twice per week or maybe even once per week. Let me link the Lazy Man's TRT video, which we do every week. It's getting cold in here now. This afternoon, it was hot as shit when I was recording in here the Hello Testing video. You'll see me sweat a little bit when that video drops, hopefully next week, but it might be the week after. Shit. Lots of swearing. We're going to get demonetized for sure. So, convenience and blood work results, and that will kind of determine how you need to proceed with your sub-Q or intramuscular and frequency cycle for this dose of testosterone. LH, FSH are in range. Question from Stan: is food enough to fix my hormone levels, and at what rate of weight gain should you recommend? It could be a micronutrient deficiency, right? Taurine, zinc, magnesium, selenium, carnitine, vitamin E, fish oil, right? They all have an improvement effect on testicular function, and otherwise use an over-the-counter test booster, with ashwagandha root extract and maybe emodin to suppress your cortisol levels, which would otherwise suppress your testosterone production, and Tonkat Ali, Fedosia agrestis, right? There's so many, and actually I made a video about this. Testosterone. Just an testosterone sup. All natural testosterone supplement stack. All right. You can ice your nuts, dude, but watch the video. Yeah. Down below. And yeah, maybe it will be enough. Give it a try for 2 months, right? If you have your blood work results, LH and FSH are in range, but your hormone levels are somewhat low, then make sure you focus on the micronutrients, all which are known to improve testicular function and raise testosterone levels. And then slowly but steadily bring your calories up. Recheck your hormone levels in 2 months. And if you feel that's not enough, and you're old enough and you know what TRT entails, then watch all the TRT videos where I discuss HCG monotherapy and then clomiphene monotherapy, which you can look into to give that a try to see what the potential is of your testicles before you start shutting everything down with hormone replacement therapy. And then you still need HCG to sustain testicular function. I don't think that enclomiphene is sustainable. Please don't do it. Injectable allopregnanolone, is that even available? Dose on finasteride. Man, I don't know. I do not know. I don't even know that that's available. No, I'm sorry. I mean, I would assume if you can test your serum allopregnanolone levels, start low, maybe 1 milligram sub-Q per day, and then see how that affects your levels. But I'm just speculating here. I didn't even know that that was available, dude. I know the tablets used to be available, but they're hard to source. Yeah, I would take the finasteride out and just go, but that's me. D3. Started TRT daily sub-Q, getting occasional post-injection pain in the glutes where inject. Any advice? Is it just the injection technique? Could be the product, right? If you're using an underground lab with a carrier oil that is shit, it's already linked down below. Then you might get some irritation, or you have sub-Q virgin sub-Q tissue, and the first couple of injections you're just going to have to suffer through because post-injection pain, whether that's sub-Q or intramuscular, is going to occur until your body gets used to it. Could be a benzyl benzoate allergy, could be a benzyl alcohol allergy, could be I mean, virgin tissue, or maybe the product that you're using is just impure, or the carrier oil you're allergic to, right? So look into all of these options. But if you're using something that is known to be good and all of your friends are getting good results and you're getting it from the compounding pharmacy, then you might have to persist until your virgin muscle is or virgin subcutaneous tissue is no longer virgin, and then it just accepts it like a champ. Yeah. Mm, J, what blood work do you recommend during the cycle and how to manage everything properly with minimal side effects? Hire a coach. I already linked all the blood work results down below. This is too broad of a question, and you know it. Come on, man. This is too much. How to manage everything? We manage everything with ancillaries and over-the-counter supplements, and we limit side effects by keeping the dosage low. Right? I mean, or do you want me to go through all 500 drugs that we use in bodybuilding and list off all the side effects and how to manage them? Come on now. Come on now. The blood work page is down below. I would advise you to do them at least every 3 months, and all of them with blood work in between of the markers that were off. Yeah, Iger already told you. James Coolest. This is one of the coolest guys. Well, literally. What's up, bro? So, guys, subscribe to his channel. If you like Vegas and traveling in general, give this guy a watch. James is a fucking legend. And I met him in Las Vegas 2 years ago, but I didn't meet him last year. Let me link his channel. James Coolest. This guy knows how to enjoy himself. 82,000 subscribers. Man, you're going to catch up to me, dude. You're going to catch up to me. All right, I'm gonna put you over above Tim Newton today. Hope you're doing well, man. I'll talk to you on WhatsApp soon. Guys, subscribe if you love high roller shit. Let's see, VV, 2.5 milligrams Cialis a day will hit you hard enough. No pun. Yeah, yeah, but 5 milligrams hits you better. But 20 milligrams is overkill. So you started low. Feel free to build up if needed, and take her from there, if you know what I mean. Let's see, Peter, what's up, bro? Welcome to the Vigorous Crew. Messaged me. Steve, you made a mistake in estrogen units conversion. The last 2 weeks, you were giving contradictory advice on it. Which videos? Which videos? Message me on Instagram. All right. Somebody has wanted to correct me. Let's see. All right. Oh, I have to be pros in my. I'll address that later. Well, that's a wall of text. I'll address it later on. If I mess up the conversion, then it's probably the fault of Units Lab. I'll link it down below. Or is this testosterone? No, Units Lab, estrogen. Page not found. Anyway, you guys know Units Lab, right? Estradiol. That's usually where I do my conversions, and that seems to be pretty on point. All right, link down below. But I'll check your message after we're done here, because it was a wall of text, and we don't have time to read that right now. I might not even have time to read it today, because after this, I'm going to go to bed. Much love, buddy. Yeah, let's catch up soon. Taika, welcome to the Vigorous Crew. Uh, go down to Fremont Street. I think no. James is going to the cool places. Fremont Street is a bit of a freak show. I was there during Halloween. Man, that was intense. Igar, why don't bodybuilders take injectable versions of orals? We do. Trust me on this. We do. If it's available, we do take it. And is it because you can't find it? Yeah, or from an underground lab? You basically answered your question. Sometimes you can't find it. Sometimes it's underground lab, and it's you don't know what the exact quality, potency, purity, or the carrier oil is. Can Mr. Olympia levels bodybuilders hire a chemist which would do an injectable version? They don't need to because most of them get their gear for free. Not all of them, but most of them. When you're in the steroid business, usually the sources find you. You don't have to look for them. When you're a bodybuilder, everybody knows you. Those guys will find you, man. I have guys in my inbox every fucking day telling me to use their labs. I just ignore it, right? Because I use pharmaceutical grade. And I can't imagine what it's like if you're an IFBB pro, because all of those sources would love to say that IFBB Pro XYZ is using my lab, right? I mean, so right, and there's nothing wrong with that if you brew correctly. If I were to use injectable orals, I would brew it myself, right? I wouldn't leave it up to anybody else. I would just brew it myself. Any news in the performance enhancing drug Olympics? No, nothing news. No, nothing news in the steroid Olympics. We're just waiting for them to announce basically a date of when the show event is going to take place. But now that the funding has increased, it wouldn't surprise me if they're just going to go ahead to the full event, because initially they wanted to do a showcase event to kind of attract more sponsors and as a proof of concept. But if Peter Thiel is on board and their millions are flowing in, then why not go ahead to the full thing? I do it right. Mm, started some VAR, and it's for the first time, and it's my favorite oral now. Well, it's not like I didn't tell you guys. Yeah, once you go VAR, you can't go back, man. I mean, you can catapult all that reject gear my way, Super Saiyan Steve. Yeah, actually, all the reject gear I already threw in the trash. Because why keep it in the house when it's screaming at you from your steroid cupboard? Take me, take me, take me. Pin me, sub-Q or intramuscular. Whether you throw it away, or I mean, most of the gear I just gave away. Um, yeah, so it's out of the house. All right, let's start scrolling up a little bit. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see. Nice shirt. Yeah, it's my favorite shirt. I wish I could buy more. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. All right. Well, I guess there's more questions down below. Let's see. Man, you've posted this question so many times. I honestly want to ban you, but I'll go ahead anyway. Your thoughts on ITTP, inositol triphosphate? Right? Is that the one? Inositol triphosphate. Let me Google that real quick. Myo-inositol tripyrophosphate. That's the one. Okay. So I've talked to several people who've used it. And I'm not sure about combining powder with liquid glycerol to make an oral serum. The people that I've talked to that used it just used it at the dosages, which I can't remember, but I recommended them in the endurance video. And their hemoglobin oxygen carrying capacity increased quite dramatically to the point they didn't feel like they needed EPO or boldenone for that matter, to improve hematocrit levels, right? Because the oxygen carrying capacity of the hematocrit or of the red blood cells containing hemoglobin is significantly improved, and all endurance factors desires were accomplished. But I can't remember the exact dosages, and I never heard anybody talking about combining that with liquid glycerol. Yeah, I can't. I don't even know where to get it, and that's rare for me. Yeah, that's rare for me. Go eat some food, bro. Yeah, tomorrow. I already ate all my food. Let's see. Vivi. Rip Toriyama. Yes. Yeah, that I saw that on Star Wars Theories post. And yeah, that's pretty painful, right? He was only 68, and I think he had some brain bleeding, if I read it correctly. Yeah, it's sad, man. Sad for all the people who got inspired from Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and all the remakes to get into the gym. I mean, I got inspired by Fist of the North Star, right, to go to the gym. I got a VHS when I was like 15 or 14 years old. So very bloody, very gory, very graphic to watch as a 14, 15 years old. And then I was in the gym, a while later because my mom signed me up. And if you want to go to the gym, you can go to the gym here. She was going to the gym, so she helped me sign up. So that was the first entry of going to the gym. But of course, Fist of the North Star back then in the 80s, 70s, those guys were not, no, it's 86, right? The movie, I think. Anyway, probably have to recheck that. That movie, those guys were not as muscular as the latest original video animations of Fist of the North Star, Hokuto no Shinken. And then you start watching Dragon Ball Z, right? Originally Japanese dubbed, with a lot of female voice actors. A lot of people don't know that Goku was actually voiced by a female voice actor. Then you really want to go to the gym and take some fucking steroids, man. Take some fucking senzu beans and go into the hyper anabolic time chamber. Yeah, so many a gym session were inspired and getting a lot of motivation from Dragon Ball Z back in the day. So it's a shame that we lost him, but his legacy will live on because we will still train hard and kick some fucking ass. That's for sure. And did you guys watch that podcast with Joe Rogan and man, the director? I already forgot his name. Zach Snyder. That guy was a huge bodybuilding fan. Yeah, that guy's a huge bodybuilding fan too. Thank God for all of these guys, man, to keep bodybuilding alive because, bodybuilding community is small, but if it can transcend into, more mainstream media, then I'm all for it, man. And get more people in the gym. What? Master Toriyama? Really? Well, I don't even want to know. Uh, I've been silent so far because I've been reading the ebook on insulin. But man, rest in peace, Toriyama. Yeah, can't lie. Be feeling horrible since his death. I mean, his content and contributions live on, man. So it's up to us to just keep kicking ass in the gym because that's ultimately what he wanted. I mean, how many episodes of Dragon Ball, whether that's in the manga or the cartoons or the anime, are with training? I mean, what is his name? The guy, not Chien, but the other guy. And they got like within the first season already, they got destroyed, right? When the Saiyans came to Earth because they were just humans. There was one episode where he went to the gym and he's super strong and he tears that seated row a new asshole. You guys remember that scene? It's fucking hilarious. Happened to me also one time, but that's the cable broke and you fly backwards, for 4 times over. So all right, let's move over. PD ranks. For my next cycle, can I break up 5 milliliters per week and inject 1.25 milliliters 4 times per week sub Q in my bum and thigh fat, or just harpoon it intramuscular in my glute and ventral? What would be better? 100% no difference. I mean, 1.25 milliliters you might be able to get away with, but it's going to leave a bump. I would not do more than 1 milliliter sub Q. And again, if you're doing 5 milliliters per week, maybe go with daily microadministrations. 5 divided by 7 is 0.7. Right, 0.7 sub Q in the upper glute area. I wouldn't do the legs, man, because if you're if you like sex and especially certain positions, then the girl is hitting your injection sites all the time. So just put it in the back. Well, let's not go there. Put it in the upper glute. That's the least invasive spot. 0.7 milliliters per day. Why do we always derail into sex jokes? Yeah. I'll probably never be remembered for my steroid advice, but I'll be remembered for the dad jokes. I got that, Steve. Remember that guy, Steve? His steroid advice was terrible, but the dad jokes? Holy shit. Okay, I drink 2 to 3 cups of decaffeinated coffee and up to a kilogram of steamed cauliflower broccoli for hunger. Any risks to consider? Farting. Yeah. Decaffeinated coffee, dude. Why? And it tastes terrible. Oh man, that's like ginger beer. Well, ginger beer is okay, but like low alcohol white beer, flat beer, man, it tastes horrible. Anyway, if that's what you like, go ahead. I don't see a reason why you cannot have a kilo of cauliflower or broccoli unless you fart up a storm and you're terrorizing everybody around you. Why does it smell like eggs? It's not the broccoli, it's the eggs dissolving in your fart stench and then being spread around, right? All that sulfur. So, yeah. Best drug off the WADA list for tendon recovery. Was TB500, the BPC 157 are on there, right? But they have a detection time of less than a month. And you would only use those in off season when you're out of competition for tendon recovery because you're recovering from an injury, obviously. Anavar is a 3-week detection time, so that's probably shorter than BPC 157 or TB500. And again, the established detection time isn't really known, so we're just playing out off a month of the detection time of other peptides. Testosterone, ecdysterone, collagen synthesis through the estrogen beta receptor, collagen supplements, obviously, vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, silica. GHK copper is not on the WADA prohibited list, but that might also cause a little bit of scar tissue at the site of administration. So do some Graston technique and deep tissue massage therapy after your session of GHK copper has completed. So that's about it, I think. Yeah, Nandrolone, Anavar, excuse me, those are all on the list. But if you know the detection times, then, you know, and you know when you're going to get tested, then you could just still use it. Taiko, how do you like Thailand, Steve? My girlfriend is from Thailand and it's becoming a real option to move there as America is expensive. Well, I've been all over the world now. America, right? All over Europe, all over Asia, even Dubai and man, shit, what was that country? Uh, shit. I'm really drawing a blank there today. Terrible. Too much camera time. Kuwait. That's the one. Kuwait. So I've been to a lot of countries, and all things considering, I would say Thailand is the best. Is it perfect? No, but right, no country is perfect. Right, Thailand is still reasonably cheap compared to all of the other countries for the amount of amenities and conveniences that it has. The pollution is terrible in some places, like Chiang Mai right now. Terrible pollution. Bangkok has wishy-washy pollution. The heat can be unbearable. The traffic can be insane. but the people are super nice, generally speaking, right? And it's still quite cheap here. There's a lot of great gyms. Are they Oxygen gym quality or Beano's gym quality or Powerhouse gym quality? Not entirely, but they're better than other parts of the world. So come here. If your girlfriend still speaks Thai, bring her along. Obviously, travel around for a month, go to all the places that you want to see, and then maybe settle. Yeah, I love it here, man. I would not move anywhere else. No, not at all. Is a newer statin such as rovastatin at a lower dose not as favored for lipid versus ezetimibe? But like there's several lines in treatment, right? Because rosuvastatin, of course, might potentiate more side effects than ezetimibe, right? Regarding myalgia, muscle soreness, other long-term side effects. Um, so let's see. Any thoughts on newer lipid drugs like bempedoic acid and PCSK9 inhibitors? I haven't really investigated those because generally I work with people who are healthy and control their diet, in which case berberine, citrus bergamot, ezetimibe, and fish oil are usually enough. And even the guys on a boatload of steroids, like Chase Irons, for example, he was on all the ezetimibe and the citrus bergamot and the berberine, and then he added in a low dose rosuvastatin just as a preventative measure, and his LDL was like super fucking low. Like what was it, 40 or 50 when we did his blood work analysis? Let me link it down below. Chase Irons. I should have those guys on again. It's been a while. Oh shit, it's August 2023. Yeah, it's been a while since I had Chase on and Paul on. All right, let me link it down below. And I told him, said, I don't think that rosuvastatin is required because your LDL is so freaking low. So I don't really look further than ezetimibe because from all the people that I work with, and in many cases of people who eat healthy and don't have some sort of genetic condition where cholesterol levels are absolutely terrible before they start steroids. That's why I don't look into it because I rarely encounter people with such terrible lipids. And if they do have terrible lipids, it's probably because they're not running ezetimibe, citrus bergamot, fish oil, and berberine. And after adding that in with a little bit of daily cardio and better eating practices, lipids improve. And rosuvastatin, a bempedoic acid, or PCSK9 inhibitor is not required. I would only look into those if you have a CAC score, right, above zero, or genetic predisposition for plaque buildup because family members have died from coronary artery disease and its complications. But I rarely see it. And again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not here to resolve medical conditions. I'm here to prevent medical conditions by giving proper advice on when you would otherwise get medical complications by using too much steroids and performance enhancing drugs, in which case ezetimibe is usually enough. Oh, you're also here. It's amazing here. Move here as soon as possible. Yeah, and get into that crypto game so you can afford the steak, which is like 4 times the price. Like a hard fork. Have you ever been to El Gaucho or one of the steak restaurants here? Right, and if you come from abroad, I mean, the steaks are fucking good, but then you see the bill and you're like, ooh, this is one of the reasons why I don't like Thailand. But sometimes you gotta eat some proper fucking steak. Right? You have appetizers and some drinks, and then the bill's like 10,000 baht. Fuck, you know, hurts. But at least we don't have to pay 10,000 baht every week. Spacer. I was running Deca 100 milligrams per week plus 300 milligrams testosterone per week. You think 6 weeks off before PCT is enough? How long would you wait? I can do blood work, but I don't want to. Bro. If I'm being honest, I love you, lol. Well, in that case, I would continue with the testosterone for another 6 weeks and give yourself 12 weeks to clear the nandrolone. I think that that's enough at 100 milligrams per week. And then maybe over the next 6 weeks, instead of 300 tests, you drop it down to 150 milligrams a test, which will put you within the clinically recognized reference range. Let's say 900 nanograms per deciliter. And then you can already get used to this declining level of serum testosterone, after which you discontinue the testosterone, wait another 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks before you feel like a little girl. And then when you feel like a little girl, there's no exogenous suppressive androgens in the picture, and PCT will be successful. But you have to suffer through it, which sucks. Yeah, which sucks. But if you suffer through it, then you will have a successful outcome. Once I have a zero alcohol whiskey. Oh, come on. Come on now. Whoa, 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 you're not a dad yet. For now, they're just dad jokes, but until your bum gets into the oven. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'm soon to be dad jokes, which makes it even more vulgar. Would Semax and saline kind of defend the brain from damage caused by steroids? Maybe, but I think the damage from steroids on the brain are oxidative stress or increased blood pressure during strenuous sets. And I'm not entirely sure if the neurogenesis from Semax and saline through increasing brain-derived neurotropic factor would be able to offset that. Maybe there's something better for that purpose. I would say continuous, neurogenesis from a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor or a good solid month or 2 months on 5 to 10 milliliters cerebrolysine. I would say that that can undo some of the damage, but the best antioxidant for oxidative stress in the brain induced by steroids is going to be melatonin at 3, 5, 10, 30, 100 milligrams per day. Right? Of course, that can also make you mad lethargic. And when I took 30 milligrams melatonin per day, I almost felt clinically depressed. So let me link that video in case you haven't watched it. Melatonin. Oh, that's the wrong. Let's call it melatonin no bueno. And I also have a video about oxidative stress in the brain. Protect your brain from steroids is what it's called. Yeah, that's the one. Look at that hair. All right. So yeah, look into those videos. Been to Norway? No, I have not. I've never been anywhere in Scandinavia. Um, well, indirectly maybe, but you'll have to use your imagination. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, all right, sorry, my brain fart. Fury for the win. What would yield better results? 500 milligrams per week testosterone or 300 milligrams per week testosterone plus 25 milligrams Anavar per day? I would say test plus Anavar because you get synergy and the overall dose is 25 milligrams higher, right? 175 milligrams Anavar plus 350 milligrams test. And since the Anavar doesn't have an ester, you get more net anabolic androgenic steroids. So I would say the latter. Yeah, that would be my favorite. Mm, Steve ranking in the money from all the super chats. Actually, it's not too much. I think my biggest number was over $500 on one of the live streams, but that was the one where people started donating $100 and $200 because they wanted to outbid for whatever reason, which is cool. I'll take the money. Don't worry. But usually it's about 250 to 300 per live stream. Yeah, and that's after YouTube takes its cut. So, um, yeah, don't worry. It's all being used to accumulate more Bitcoin. Yeah. Yeah. Well deserved. Dude puts in so much work to help us with the information and tips. Yeah. And even though the questions are exactly the same every week, I'm still here for you guys putting in 2.5 hours every Saturday when I could be spending that with my wife. No, that's not true. She's sleeping right now, but yeah, I'll just keep going, man. Iger, I would like to know how Chase feels like a dad. I guess it feels amazing. Yeah, from what I understand, Chase is having its hands full, but he loves every second of it. And hopefully he can find some sort of rhythm where he can get back to the YouTube game. Yeah. When broccoli and cauliflower is steamed, it doesn't give me flatulence. Unsweetened almond milk and decaf coffee goes well. Give it a try. All right. Sure. Why not? All right. Why the fuck not? Well, right now it might be a bit risky getting into crypto. Yeah, I mean, we're basically at all-time high, and there might be a brutal rejection leading into the halving. That's why we have stop losses. All right, that's why we have stop losses. Hardcore crypto. Steaks are great, but fucking expensive. Sushi expensive too. Actually, sushi is pretty doable here in Thailand compared to other countries. Like if you go to Dubai or well, Japan is a little bit cheaper and better quality. But I would say all other countries where I ate sushi. I went to a sushi restaurant in Vegas. I walked out. It's too expensive, man. And I don't mind spending money on food, dude. But I looked at the prices. I'm like, what? $30 for a sushi roll? Are you fucking crazy? I walk right out. I can get a sushi roll for $8 here, and it's a good one, with Wagyu beef and yeah, some nice fucking stuff on the inside. Yeah. All right, super chat time. Oh, I said it wrong. Lozenges. Lozenges. Yeah, dude, I'm not a native speaker, dude. Fucking give me a break. Hey Steve, my AST and LT were 63 and 71, 1 month after 16 weeks on 10 milligrams Anavar. Will injectable glutathione bring back to normal range? No, that just protects your liver from oxidative stress. If you want to bring your liver enzymes down, I would recommend Tatka, maybe 500 milligrams per day. And again, these liver enzymes are not the end of the world because it could be from training intensity, right? So there's multiple things that increase liver enzymes. Could be what is it? Heat stroke or training in a hot environment. That's why sometimes the MMA fighters here in Thailand, they don't take anything and then they analyze their blood work results and it's fucking elevated. Also into the hundreds. Right? It could be from impact, right? Or it could be from the heat that they're training in because those guys train in the middle of the day, sweating buckets, and doing that, for hours on end. So that could increase the training intensity, can increase it. Other medications can increase it. Lack of detoxification because you're not getting enough fiber in your diet, and thus you get a enterohepatic recirculation, reabsorbing the bile acids and the toxins contained within, and keep your liver enzymes elevated. So look into all of that, but it doesn't hurt to add in some injectable glutathione. Right? It can only help with your liver health. Dawn to Dusk. I wanted to say Dusk to Dawn. That's a great movie and a great TV series. 3 seasons. Fucking legendary. But your Dawn to Dusk, which could be a reference to what is that series? 2 seasons. Drawing a lot of blanks today. Series. Foundation. That's the one. Foundation. That's a great series. Brother Dawn and Brother Dusk. 500 testosterone cypionate, 250 milligrams deca per week, split into 2 pins weekly, sub-Q. Any advice? Caber needed. I mean, do blood work and see if your prolactin is elevated and if your estrogen is elevated. And if you're doing this sub-Q, then you're doing 1.5 cc's per shot, might be a little bit too high, right? 250 milligrams per 1 ml, or maybe 200 if it's test sip, might be 2.5 plus 1 ml, so that's 3.5 mils. I would do 4 shots. Yeah, so Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, not twice a week. And you probably need an aromatase inhibitor and maybe even prolactin management. But without blood work, we don't know how much you need. So please go do that first and then ask again. Does melatonin interfere and stop natural growth hormone secretion and production? No, actually, it increases growth hormone production, as you can see from my blood work results, which I mentioned in the megadosing melatonin video and the growth hormone secretagogue optimization video. Melatonin helps with growth hormone secretion, apparently. My growth hormone levels were like 9 nanograms per milliliter when I took my blood work the day after 30 milligrams of melatonin. So that's pretty tangible. All right, guys, we got 10 minutes left. And then I'm going to throw in the towel because I got to wake up very, very, very early. And I got to get some sleep in. Where did you make most of your money before YouTube? Coaching. I mean, I did coaching for what, 10, 15 years before I went on YouTube. And I had like, between 1 client and 50 clients, obviously. All right. So I just did coaching. Yeah, and I resold some supplements that I would order from iHerb and then distribute to my clients in countries where I didn't have credit cards. And obviously, I would mark it up, right? I mean, you're in between, so you got to mark it up. And I would order like crates at a time. So I had a good supplement distribution business. I used to make bikinis. Yeah, don't ask. But I made the first bikini for my wife because we didn't have so much money, and then people really liked the bikinis because she won shows. And then I made more bikinis for all the competitors here until that became too much work and my lower back was hurting because I had to put all those rhinestones on. And before you start judging me, I made a fuckload of money selling those bikinis and I put it into Bitcoin, and that's how I became financially secure. So before you start laughing, oh, Steve used to make bikinis, after that, money was not an issue anymore. So I didn't need the money. I had the time, but I didn't need the money. I bought Bitcoin and it accumulated fat. Fat accumulation happened that first Bitcoin bull run that I was a part of. So I made bikinis from what, 2014 to 2015, 16, put that all into Bitcoin, and that's how I accumulated wealth. Yeah. So bikinis, coaching, supplement distribution, and that's pretty much it, right? And then you do the odd job here and there, some personal training or some posing coaching, this kind of stuff. So you just got to hustle, man. If you want to make money, you got to hustle. Did you use trailing stop loss? What's your strategy like? No, I don't use a trailing stop loss. Just a regular stop loss based on Fibonacci levels and how it's going, and how I feel. I mean, it's you know, I don't know. I've been doing this so long, you kind of know. And sometimes I don't follow a particular trend, but I just follow my gut instinct. So that's why I got the previous drop, because I don't know, something was telling me that we're going to hit all-time high, we're going to get a brutal rejection. So I got out a certain percentage and then I got in when the trend was reversed. Did I get the absolute bottom? No. Could I have bought it below the Bollinger Bands on the 4-hour charts? Of course I could have, but I did accumulate a good amount of extra percentage on my Bitcoin. And right now it's just about accumulating Bitcoin, and whether that's about making good trades or putting the surplus of money in that I make every month, that's about it. But from now, the strategy is to accumulate Bitcoin. And once we hit that sweet spot around 2025, then I'm getting out. And if it goes higher, fuck it. I'm not going to be sore because I made profit. Yeah. And I might do some small trades on the way down, right? Because at one point it will come down. Let's say you get out at 150,000 and it goes up to 250,000. Maybe some small trades, but not the full back, man. And of course, I'm not going to get out fully at 150,000. I'm going to ladder out your dollar cost average in and your dollar cost average out. Or that's at least my strategy. So if that's the strategy, that's the strategy. All right, Iger. Currently on 2 kilograms of fruit and veggies, 500 milligrams or 500 grams of grapes, not milligrams, 500 grams of bananas, 500 grams of kiwi, and 250 milligrams of blueberries, and 250 grams of tomato. Feel great, but could it be too much? Well, that's a lot of sugar, but also a lot of fiber and a lot of micronutrients. So I would check your hemoglobin A1C, and it's maybe reduce it a little bit. I'm not against the bananas and blueberries and the tomatoes, but the kiwi and the grapes might be digesting a little bit too fast because it's so watery, right? So check your hemoglobin A1C levels, check your glucose levels throughout the day, and maybe check your fasting insulin levels and calculate how many carbs you're getting from this, because I mean, off the top of my head, it could be 20, 100, 500 carbs, 400, 500 carbs. And I'm not against it, man. I've done diets where I just ate fruit and veggies and I felt great. And I've done diets where I just ate rice. And I've done diets where I just ate oatmeal or bread because I was lazy. Yeah, Octavian, tomato is a fruit. That's true. That's true. But then banana was considered to be something else, right? Also, I can't remember. Go carrots. And carrots give me terrible constipation. Yeah, trying to be a silverback gorilla. Exactly. This is the gorilla diet. Yeah. Add in some trend and you're golden. All right. Where are we? All right, guys. No more super chats. All right. Don't do it. I'm not going to answer. Domini. I weigh 114 kilos, around 12% body fat. I'm on, okay, that's pretty big. I'm on 2,400 milligrams of test. Hell yeah. 10 IUs of growth hormone, 1 milligram of Arimidex every day. Okay. Yet my glands and nipples are inflamed. Test levels over 52, right? That's the highest tolerable range. I'm sure it's going to be way higher on this much testosterone. Estradiol levels 150 picomoles per liter. Okay, so your estrogen is in range and your testosterone is undetectably high, and you still say you have puffy nipples, they are inflamed. What could happen is that testosterone converts into estradiol or esterone through another pathway locally and activates the nipples. But your nipples could also be inflamed from the water retention that you have, right? If you're 12% body fat and you had gyno in the past, this much testosterone can just put a little bit of water in that area and make your gyno look worse, when in reality, it's not growing any worse. What you could try is, 20 milligrams tamoxifen or 120 milligrams roloxifene for 2 weeks to see if the nipple puffiness comes down. Of course, roloxifene will not lower your serum estradiol levels, but Nolvadex will, tamoxifen, because one of its metabolites, norendoxifen, is actually a very potent aromatase inhibitor. So either or, all you have to decide. I would run it for 2 weeks as an experiment because, again, I don't think that selective estrogen receptor modulators are very sustainable because they lower IGF-1 raise liver enzymes and clotting risk, right? I always have to mention it to you guys, but we have enough people dying from cardiovascular disease, so please just be wary of it. Run the experiment for 2 weeks and then see what happens to your nipples. Right? If nothing happens, then there's no interaction with the estrogen, and it's just testosterone potentiating a good amount of water retention, making your nipples look puffy, but there's no gynecomastia being formed. And if the nipple puffiness and inflammation does go down, then it might be estrogen related, occurring locally around the nipple site. Right? And then you might have to reduce the testosterone and add in some primobolan or add in some mastrone, which actually blocks estrogen mediated gene transcription. One of its metabolites does. But you might get a net reduction of anabolic effect, right? If you reduce your testosterone dose, because I feel that mastrone is not such a good anabolic, but other people disagree, right? They love mastrone. Everybody's different. All right. H, you got his question in. Last one, yes. Is taking clomiphene 1 day and 3 days off going to give estrogen receptors time to take a break back to normal to mitigate side effects and vision loss? I mean, you might be able to get away with enclomiphene like once or twice per week for increased luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone levels. But giving it a break, I mean, what is the half-life of enclomiphene? I don't think even it's determined. Enclomiphene half-life. 10.5 hours. Is that true? 10 hours. Okay, so if you take it 10 hours times 5, it's 50 hours, so that's 2 days. Right? So it's in your system for 2 days, give or take. And if you take 3 days off, then you have 2 days off. Yeah, 1.5 days off, give or take. Is it enough time to give the estrogen receptors a break? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't investigated it in this extent. And if you get vision loss or vision issues from the enclomiphene, just don't use it. Use HCG monotherapy. That's why I prefer HCG monotherapy over enclomiphene monotherapy because you're just stimulating and not blocking. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here because it's been a long day and tomorrow I got to wake up early. So for all the guys that are new, a great podcast I did with Dr. Kirk Parsley. Link down below. Give it a watch. We didn't got so many views because we probably got muted on YouTube. I mean, the click through rate was only 3.5%, but normally I would get it at 8 to 10%. So please give it a watch because it is well worth your time. I promise you. Next week we'll have a podcast with James English, probably dropping on Monday. Then next week, Friday, I have a Merrick Health webinar. Link down below. Everybody's free to join. All of the YouTube videos are linked down below, which we discussed in the TikTok Guru Q&A, as well as the Mayo Clinic Papaverine screening, for blood work, unit labs conversion, and James Coolest and Tim Newton today YouTube channels. You would do well to subscribe. And next week we'll have a myostatin video, and the halotestin deep dive is also recorded, but it's 15 minutes long or maybe even longer. So it might not drop next week. Guys, do me a solid. go through some of my older videos. Let me know down below which one you would like me to re-record with new information and better production quality, obviously, because now I have an editor. And just link that down below with the YouTube link. And if you see that somebody already linked the video you would like me to make, drop a like, leave a comment so it can go up in the ranking. And then next week I know what to make, because I think all the popular videos I already redid and the views were flying, I would say, in those videos. But now I'm not entirely sure what you guys would like to see me redo next week. And don't worry, the best dose of steroid XYZ, that's going to continue. I think Mastrone is next, because there's not so many studies. And after reviewing all the studies for halotestin, I need a little bit of a break. Right? I wanted to do Trenbolone, and then I saw 856 studies on PubMed, and I was like, oh, it's too much. Right? So let me do Mastrone first, and then and then we'll get to the Trenbolone later on. Or I'll probably do one oral and one injectable, and then just go back and forth until all the popular steroids are done. And then if there's a demand for it, then we'll do the niche steroids and just keep going, right? Because it gets views, and if it gets views, I'm all for it. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. Thank you guys so much for joining the Vigorous Q&A. We'll see you next weekend. Just a regular old name, all right? Let's not play the joke any harder than we need to. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.